Now, the final part, it's pretty easy. It's going to be this area of the mouth. So it's often called the barrel of the mouth because it's kind of like a cylinder, like a barrel that just sits there, and the teeth actually follow that shape, right? So let's take a look at the 3D real quick. But notice from the side, it kind of peeks out forward, and it kind of has a nice triangle, and then it goes into the chin there. So let's go ahead and go back to Photoshop. So let's just do a quick explanation of that magnet shape real quick. And imagine around this top third, so if we have the center line here, we divide that to thirds, this one is kind of where the teeth are going to meet. And then go inward, and then the chin will be out like that. But this line is going to come out forward, pulling the geometry of everything forward like that. Right? So you'll end up with a shape that's sort of like a flying saucer. But in this case, it's cut off and then ends up being the jaw and the chin. Right? So what we're going to do is find that line over here and then pull it out. So here's this 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a little bit lower than that third, but that's fine. And you could even just draw the wireframe of it like that, and on its own layer, you just pull it forward, right? And then instead of the wireframe of it being a direct vertical like this, now when I pull it forward, it's going to be angling in a nice little slope, and then out again for the chin. And if you just connect the dots, everything falls into place. I'm going to put a little black shape here. That's where the teeth are ending. And another black shape there. If we take a look at the 3D, that lower jaw, again, it sits into that zygomatic arch of the cheekbone. And it has a hole there, a big hole here, and a smaller hole there. Of course, it looks different from this angle, but that's perfectly fine. And we're going to treat this like a cylinder with a core shadow like that, and it goes down like this. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's bring that highlight in. Again, I'm ping-ponging my eyes back and forth. I am not concerned with the teeth just yet. I just want the basic shape breakdown. Because really, that's what you need as a setup for your characters and your heads. All right. If you can at least get this far, you're pretty set for, moving on to more complex shapes. But if you want to kind of get the teeth in there, we can do that. So if you're familiar with drawing in 3D, let's bring back that center line. That's where the middle of our teeth are going to be. And yeah, these are some pretty large teeth, and that's fine. Let's bring that line back again. But this time we're going to have a sort of line above it and another one underneath it. And if you just, what I like to do is draw these little pointed shapes symmetrically on both sides, although we're not seeing the other side. So I'll just, I'm not really counting. I'm just kind of starting here in the center and moving all the way back to this end. And, you know, if it looks right, that's fine. If we want to make this an in-depth anatomy study, then yeah, figure out the exact number and what the names of the teeth are, but that's not what we're doing here today. Same thing with the bottom. And this is just a setup for the actual render that we'll do on top of it. We can get rid of those lines. Lower the opacity on that. And pretty easily just lay in some highlights on this side. And just by doing that and zooming out, it starts to look like teeth. Anyway, not the best skull, but for now it's a decent explanation of just the basic shapes and how they come together. I think whenever I explain something, it's going to look rigid and strange like this. But again, that's fine. So let's move on to another one. Now that we've covered the basics at this angle, let's try something else. Just added some flourishes there on that. But let's move on to the next one.